course not.
Hi, I'm David with EV World News. We talk about electric vehicles, clean energy, and the stock markets. I'm back today with our founder and chief editor, Bill Moore. How's it going today, Bill?
I am doing fine, thank you very much. Although I'll be honest with you, I have been engaged elsewhere mentally and physically than EV World over the weekend. So you'll have to bear with me.
Yeah, so Tesla was supposed to provide critical full self-driving data to the NHTSA yesterday, and I've been trying to find, I can't find anything that says whether it actually happened or not.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'd love to know if anybody knows anything, please put it in the comments. Maybe you'll know something after the show airs, but feel free to post. But that was, a big thing because full self-driving is under additional scrutiny. And let's see, currently Tesla shares are at $390. They're testing support at $390. It's $390 has been defended a couple times in the past couple months. A lot of the bullish people, though, are losing conviction on Tesla because as the stock has failed to hold the gains it got, because it jumped up to what, like 470 or 480?
Yeah,
a couple months ago. Yeah. Tesla's valuation hinges on autonomy and AI, not just vehicle deliveries. If these regulators aren't satisfied, it could prolong uncertainty around full self-driving, which is one of their big pillars. We got another date coming up. So today's the 10th. Today is March 10th when we're airing this show. March 12th is, let me see, both companies are having special launch days. Rivian's unveiling final R2 pricing and specs at the South by Southwest show in Austin, Texas.
Yep.
While Lucid is hosting an investor day in New York to preview its
I missed that one.
Program. Yeah. And for both of them, they're kind of make or break products. The R2 compact SUV needs to deliver 20 to 25,000 units in 26 just to meet guidance. As long as they're able to produce them, I guess that's the big thing.
Yeah.
They've got buyers.
They don't have the plant finished down in Georgia. They're probably looking at about 2028 to get that finished and up and running. So all of these are being produced through the Bloomington, Illinois. I think it's Bloomington. Normal. Yeah. Well, Bloomington, Normal, they're next to each other. But yeah, the Normal facility. So
it's a normal facility.
It's a normal, formerly a I think it was a Mitsubishi plant at one time.
It's funny how often some of these car manufacturing facilities keep changing. Like we have Lordstown and different ones. I'm sure Lordstown moved into somebody else's old plant, and then somebody else moved into the Lordstown plant, and like Bollinger or something like that. And it just keeps going down the line.
Well, the Tesla facility out in the Bay Area, that was originally a Toyota General Motors facility.
Okay.
And they shut down that joint project that they were working on and sat there empty for a while. And then Tesla comes along and moves from the car dealership that they were in originally, a little tiny thing with, a typical car dealership service bay in the back and that type of thing, and moved into this the General Motors. I forget the name of that now, but the General Motors Toyota facility. So that you got it. Half the work done for you. Go ahead and take advantage of it.
When we think about NVIDIA now, we've always thought about video cards, right? But now it's so much of it's AI driven, because NVIDIA's products are the needed chipsets for so much of AI. Well, Lucid's midsize platform underpins at least 3 models with NVIDIA's Drive AGX Thor for level 4 autonomy ambitions.
Wow. Ambitions. Okay, there's the clarification.
Yeah, apparently it's not there yet.
Right.
But NVIDIA jumped into the driving autonomy space as well. It is interesting to see these other tech firms, like we've looked at the Chinese, cell phone manufacturer, was it Xiaomi?
Xiaomi, yep.
Yeah, that's jumped into the, EV space and done quite well.
Yeah. Whereas Apple jumped in and went nowhere. Well,
But once again, that's Apple trying to do something in the United States.
Yeah.
Well, Xiaomi just did it in China.
Yeah.
And the U.S. just is fickle about EVs.
Yeah, just a little more, sort of a combination of good luck and government favoritism and whatever else that makes it work in China that makes it difficult to do here.
So next month, Elon Musk is going to launch X Money, the everything app expanding. Now, I was telling you, Bill, before the show that Musk has previously commented about WeChat, which is a Chinese. You're not really supposed to use WhatsApp or a whole lot of other communications programs if you live in China. You're supposed to use WeChat.
Yeah.
And if you're communicating with somebody in China, you have to use WeChat. And it's a challenge because you have to go through this difficult invitation process.
Yeah,
without communicating with them in some way, it's pretty hard to get done. It's not a real. I don't think it's a real intuitive app. I don't. But
doing everything they can to maintain control over their populace.
Right. I mean, it's kind of like inviting people to a Teams meeting. You invite people to a Teams meeting because you're hoping some of them won't show up. Okay, because the technology can be challenging. The difference is if you're a Microsoft shop and you got an IT administrator and they're loading all the systems, Teams works just fine.
Right.
But when you're inviting somebody outside the organization to your Teams meeting, things go haywire. It is much more difficult to use than Zoom or Google Meet, and but I say the same thing about that. But so X, or Twitter, is incorporating X Money, and X Money is something they've been doing internally amongst employees, and it's sort of like a PayPal-like service internally. It's expected to have public access next month in April 2026. It'll make Twitter, or X, a financial services platform. A partnership with Visa was already set up last year. The move leverages X's user base to tap into digital payments and in-app transactions, part of Musk's vision since the $44 billion Twitter acquisition in 2022. It's hard to fathom that was actually 4 years ago.
Yeah.
I mean, time has flown on that. The announcement comes as Musk testified last week in a Twitter shareholder lawsuit, accusing him of deflating the stock price before his purchase. He's also moved for a mistrial, claiming jury bias. Now, I saw something else where AOC called him a con man billionaire.
Right.
Goes, wrong. I'm a trillionaire.
Yeah. Well.
He's the one that was always accusing AOC of flirting with him when she posts stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I've always thought that was pretty funny. Let's see. All right. So January of 26, global EV sales slumped. China down 20%, US down 25.6% year over year. Global EV sales fell 6% year over year in January of 26. That's the first time I've ever heard of that happening.
Really. On a global basis. Yeah, normally it's like the US and maybe Europe briefly, but to have it all the way around that.
But China is, so half of all car sales in China are EVs, right. But almost half of all global EV sales are in China, right?
Are in China.
So for China to take a 20% slump, that basically, that's probably your real.
Yeah, well, we've talked about that before. I think that's a indicator of the general economic and political instabilities that they're taking place in China at the moment.
Well, it's about to get a lot worse. So the U.S. has cut off the cheap oil from Venezuela to China and the cheap oil from Iran to China.
Yep.
And their situation is going to get a whole lot worse. Yep. I was telling you, I was just in this family office Zoom call, and we had shipping people on there. talking about this very thing and how this is, there's probably a lot deeper chess moves going on here by the current administration as far as trying to negotiate some things with China and probably Russia too. Although I did see where we've allowed India
to buy Russian oil. Yeah. But then there's opposition to that because, why are you doing that? Because the Russians are the ones that are supplying intel to the Iranians that they can better target U.S. forces. So,
yeah, well, I suspect there's a limit to how many drones and rockets Iran can keep shipping.
Well, I'm hoping that with all that ordnance that we're dropping on those people, that it's taking out those Shahad facilities.
Hopefully.
Because you've seen some of the videos. I don't know whether the videos were from the Iranian factory or whether they were from the Russian factory, but it's like, you remember the famous scene in Indiana Jones where they rolled the Ark of the Covenant all boxed up into this warehouse?
Yeah, and it was like a million.
It goes on for miles. Well, that's kind of what it looks like at that Shahad factory with all the the fiberglass. These, I guess, look like they're molded up, completely the airframe and wings and everything out of one unit.
Wow.
But, and they're just stacks and stacks and stacks and stacks of them. It's amazing.
Well, like I said before, this one YouTuber calls the Shahad and U.S. kamikaze drones basically flying burritos, because that's the adopted shape, is essentially a burrito with a couple of tail fins and.
Burrito, I would almost let's see. Well, if they're kind of like that, because that's what they look like. So
yeah,
sort of like they're a lot like a blend. Work being done on, for example, blended wing airliners and things.
Yeah.
Where are all those little 2-cylinder engines coming from, though? Because those are things, they're just powered by little, gasoline, twin cylinder engines. I mean, I'd love to have one of those to build a home built with, ultralight.
Yeah, here I thought most of the drones were EVs.
Oh they're gasoline. The long range ones. No, the short range, yeah, but the long ranges are powered by a little 2-stroke gasoline engine. That's why you hear when they go over, they go.
Global EV sales fell 6% for January. China down 20% to a 39% market share. That's different because they've typically been over 50% market share. Europe was up 22% to a 30% market share. And the US down a whopping 25.6 to just a 7.82% market share. Manufacturer responses to this: BYD, Tesla, and Xiaomi launched 7-year financing to combat the slump.
Yeah.
Some China new energy vehicle subsidies were reduced in 26, exacerbating the slowdown. BYD's sales and market share took a big fall. Geely, AITO, SAIC, Xiaomi, and Leapmotor performed relatively well in a tough market. Ford's January EV sales were down 25% year over year to 14,228 units.
And that's Mustangs mainly?
Probably more the trucks.
You think?
Yeah, I think it's mainly
because I thought they'd stop manufacturing the F-150.
Yeah. Now, did Ford stop making their electric cargo van?
That I haven't seen any news on. I can't.
Okay, I think it was just GM that did it.
Yeah, GM stopped. Yeah,
I was noticing
Bright Drop, something like that.
Yeah. Okay, that's right. It was the GM one. Yeah.
Right.
I saw a Ford one delivering packages for Walmart to my house, and I was like, "Oh, that's an EV."
Oh, all right.
Yeah, and I had never noticed those before, but I just don't normally pay that much attention. To be fair, you don't really see Walmart delivery vans. Usually, if you order something from Walmart, it's usually delivered by a personal vehicle of some sort.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it could have been like the van I saw this weekend, this big white van with the back, we've had snow and dirt and stuff here. So the back of the van is covered in dirt. And somebody had gone in there and scrawled with their finger, Amazon.
Oh, really? That's
On the
funny.
back of the delivery van. Yeah.
All right. Motley Fool says there's 2 EV stocks to buy in March. Their picks are NIO and Rivian. Okay. Now, we don't ever
Okay.
cover NIO on here other than the fact they do the battery swap technology.
Yeah, what's that? That you have to buy that through what, the Hong Kong exchange, or
No. They're on
are
the
they
New York Stock
listed?
Exchange.
Okay.
Yeah, they're on the big board. Despite the slowdown, the global EV market could expand at about a 32.5% rate annually between now and 2030. NIO and Rivian are positioned as unloved but undervalued. NIO's current momentum, Chinese EV maker, saw deliveries grow 47% to 326,000 vehicles last year, driven by ET series sedans and Envo SUVs. It expects its first adjusted profit in Q4 of 25. It's supposed to report today. Trades at less than 1 times 2026 sales. Now, don't go buy NIO. NIO is a Chinese company.
Yeah, no.
While they are on the New York Stock Exchange, their values manipulated by Chinese currency moves, government support. It doesn't move with true market conditions. So a lot of people like trading NIO in options and other things like that. I just don't see it as a healthy long-term play. So
Rivian, on the other hand,
Rivian's a whole different ballgame.
a whole different one, yeah.
And we don't have a stock ticker today. Our editor is stuck on a train right now.
Oh no, Yogi.
Yeah, he's on a train. Oh, so we were at like $15 on Friday for Rivian. It's almost at 17. It's at 16.97.
All right, excellent.
But it's because of the news I'm about to give.
Okay.
Let's see. Deliveries dropped 18% for Rivian in 2025 to only 42,000 vehicles, which I didn't realize that had occurred. I always thought 42,000 was a good number for them. But the R2 launch could stabilize growth. Wall Street expects a 29% revenue growth in 2026 and 65% in 27. It trades at less than 3 times 26 sales versus Tesla's 15x. But Rivian is a car manufacturer. Tesla is not just a car manufacturer.
Right.
So that's a really poor comparison.
Yeah.
Yeah. Rivian is never going to be worth what Tesla is because they don't do the same thing.
But remember, they also have the bicycle division. So that's not like AI or shooting rockets into space, but yeah.
You know, I was in Florida a week or so ago, and I was really surprised at the number of electric bikes I saw going around.
Around here, same around here, hundreds, yeah.
But it was every couple of minutes somebody was zipping by on an electric bike, and so they were there. I'm just saying, I see one here in Omaha once in a blue moon.
I see them down where my part of Papillion. I see them all the time. And just as an example, I'm walking down one of the streets that I walk down, and these 2 kids come out of the street next to the school, and they're riding, piggyback. There's one driving, one on the back, and they're ridden and they're driving up the street, along the edge of the road on this electric bike. Right behind them is a policeman. And they pull up onto the sidewalk where I'm walking, and obviously the cop wants them to pull over. They don't know that they're the ones that are being flagged. So I kind of said, yeah, you guys better stop, right? And so as I walk by, it says, I don't think you're supposed to be doing that. Riding in the street, riding double on an electric bike. So I don't know how it turned out. They stopped. Policeman got out, came over and talked. And these are 2, teenagers. So.
Yeah. Well, they probably don't know.
No. And I'm not sure that, technically, you're not supposed to ride a motorized vehicle on a sidewalk.
Mm-hmm.
But then you're not necessarily supposed to ride an electric bicycle on the street. I mean, I think it's kind of a gray area that needs to be more clarified and everybody understand what the rules of the game are. And I'm not sure that we all I don't know if I understand it.
So
fortunately, go ahead.
The walking path that runs through my neighborhood is wide enough to drive down. Okay, for a single vehicle.
Right.
Okay, and I regularly it's a snowplows, not full-size snowplows, but like a pickup truck with a plow.
Right.
Comes and plows it anytime it snows, and they're actually pretty good about getting right to it.
Yeah, same here. I've got the similar type of walking trail here. Yeah.
Yeah. So, to me, it seems quite appropriate for somebody to ride an electric bike on it because it's pretty wide. It's not like the sidewalk where you might run over somebody's dog they're walking or something like that. But I do when I'm walking my dogs, I pull my dogs to the side because my dogs are really confused by anybody coming on a bicycle because they're not sure what it is, and it definitely looks like a threat.
Yeah.
So my dogs are ready to put down anything on a bike.
Oh, thanks. I'll make sure I don't ride over in your neighborhood.
Yeah. It's really good exercise holding back 200-pound dogs from trying to chase after a bike.
This particular part of town that we live in has been good when they were developing this area. They've been good about putting in nice wide sidewalks and walking trails and things of that nature. So when I go out to ride, there's only short sections that I have to, ride in the street. Other than that, we've got all these wonderful walking trails around the parks and things. So they've been good about it.
You got that one that goes all the way west from Sarpy County, all the way from the base. Way out west.
Way out west,
yeah. A rail line.
Yep.
Yeah, and
rails, rails to trails, or trail. Yeah, rails to trails. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I know it was done a long time ago. It's probably done 20 years ago, but it's really, I'm just saying, it's really nice the way that's set up. I live quite a bit north of that path, but it's not, I don't know, probably a couple mile bike ride south to catch it.
Yeah.
Anyways.
But yeah, I can't think of any, knowing where you live, you're going to have to be on the street most of the time to get down to where the trail starts along the creek bottom.
66th.
Yeah.
It's not a real heavily driven road. So, anyways, but
now you all know where where we live.
There you go. Good luck with that.
Yeah.
But anyways, I thought that was interesting. I think that with this thing with South by Southwest going on in a couple days, I think that's going to be a really, really big boost in the stock price. It'll attract a lot of attention to the stock price. So I think that's probably why the stock is holding where it's at. Oh, it's 17 now. So even as we've been talking, people have clearly been buying the stock. Wow, NEO's up 11% today. I still wouldn't go buying it.
No.
Lucid's up 2%. The thing is, the news about Lucid though, with their having this big event, I don't know that that's really a starter. That doesn't. The Rivian thing is a much bigger announcement in the EV space than the Lucid announcement. All right, let's see. Oh, we talked about this a little bit on this fabulous article from EV World. We talked about Friday about the gas prices surging after Iran attack. I think we're going to keep seeing it go up.
I've seen predictions of $5 a gallon now.
In our part of the world?
No, I don't think it was our part. I don't think here, but nationally, probably as an average, $5 a gallon.
Okay. Gas prices are rising following the U.S. attack on Iran, creating a potential tailwind for EV adoption. Historical spikes have consistently boosted demand for fuel-efficient vehicles. Yeah, we ought to see, some accelerated
You would,
here if this goes on for very long. If it doesn't last for like a month, then no. But
well, yeah, and of course the scuttlebutt that I'm hearing is that now they're thinking this thing could go on for multiple months. And God, I hope not. You know, it's particularly for the families of the troops involved. You know, the people, the 6 soldiers that were killed in Kuwait by the drone attack. I think most or all of them were from our neighborhood, this part of the country. And one of them was right here in our town. They lived here in our town. So, yeah, we pray for them, obviously. And, you know, the Iranian people, they've been through enough crap, you know, for the last 40 some years. They deserve a break from this, but you know, bombs tend to be somewhat, you know, indiscriminate about who they decide to wreak their havoc on. So,
right. Yeah, it's sad to see. I know there's this, I've seen where there's a Kurdish incursion from Iraq into northwest Iran. But I mean, that can't really be a whole lot of.
Well, that whole sort of northeastern, you know, northwestern corner of Iran, that's all pretty much Kurdish population,
right?
And they've been the brunt of a great deal of the Islamic Republic of Iran's you know, enforcement activities. So they have no love, you know, for Tehran and the rulers of Tehran.
The Kurds are Muslim, though.
Oh yeah, it's not a matter of Muslim.
They're the wrong version of Muslim, I guess.
Because there's a difference between Shia and Sunni Muslims, right? And God, I should remember the difference. I think the Sunni Muslims are like Saudi Arabian, the area, and then the Shias are Muslims. And it has to do with what I think who was his successor to
Muhammad.
Muhammad, right? And one of them said it should be the mullahs, and the other one said it should be by inheritance, right? By blood, and they split off from that. So, yeah, there's no love, and of course the Kurds. I don't understand the schisms. Is probably a lot like the difference between Catholics and Orthodox Greeks, and you know, things of that nature.
Well, you know, and if you really want a good explanation, you should watch the South Park episode on atheism. And
where I haven't seen that one.
Where they have the fight about who has the better version of atheism.
Oh, okay.
And both sides are yelling praise science as they go into battle.
Right.
That's their battle cry, is praise science.
Oh.
You know, it's really hilarious because it's like, you know, it's really hard to fathom, you know, that we had, you know, the Anglican Church and the Protestants and the Catholics, and everybody was fighting each other over the better version of Christianity.
You know, the interesting thing I saw, there was a video that I saw. Well, we're getting really off track here, but it's kind of important that the reason why we have democracy in America as opposed to monarchy in England had to do with which version of the Bible the two disparate groups followed. The Anglicans followed the King James version, whereas the Puritans, right, followed the the earlier version of the the Swiss Christian Protestant I can't think of the name. But anyway, there was an earlier version of the Bible that those groups had that extolled basically independence, freedom of thought, all this kind of things, right? That's the underpinnings of democracy. Whereas King James ordered this new Bible written that expunged those particular outlook and teachings, or commentary, maybe is the best way to put it, that would have been in the earlier Wycliffe, I think it was a Wycliffe Bible.
Okay,
and
that sounds right.
Yeah, and so that King James Version was specifically ordered to be written to counter the independent-minded rebellion, sort of encouraging, open-minded of the earlier, Wycliffe Bible, as opposed. So this King James, to repeat myself, sorry, King James Version was a piece of propaganda, right? To stamp out that. And of course, what happened is all the people that wanted to believe in that ended up getting on a Mayflower and other boats and, sailing to the New World and starting their own freedom of religion movement. So it's an interesting, if you can find it, it's a really well done YouTube story. So anyway.
Yeah, I'll still direct them back to the South Park. But we get on this because we're talking about oil in Iran and how this is probably going to affect EV sales. So,
well, I guess we'll
out there. But.
Yeah, I guess we'll see. The interesting thing is that apparently the president has told ship owners to show some guts.
Oh God.
And send their tankers through the Straits of Hormuz, right? And of course, actually, the Greek Navy has in fact done that. They sent one of their escort destroyers or frigates or whatever it was into the Persian Gulf, and they're escorting two of the Greek-owned tankers out through the Straits of Hormuz. What I didn't realize was that from Kuwait, did you know that from Kuwait to the Straits of Hormuz is like driving from Omaha to Denver? 500 miles that you're exposed to the Iranian coastline on the east, on the east side. If you're sailing south, it would be on your port side. And so you want to risk a multi-million-dollar oil tanker or billion-dollar in some of the super tankers, risk that on the exhortation of the president who says, show some guts.
Yeah. So
by the way, there are no U.S. naval vessels in the Persian Gulf. They're all standing off the coast in the Indian Ocean or Arabian Sea.
Yeah, they should start letting destroyers start escorting those ships, but they should all turn their transponders off because the transponders are just helping target the damn things.
Right, exactly, and that's how there's been a couple that have come through with their, made the run with their transponders off. But there is no U.S. And in addition to that, the United States Navy is number one warning all marine vessels to stay clear of U.S. naval vessels, lest you be mistaken for an Iranian vessel and will blow you out of the water. There's that. And then they've been warned also to be careful and negotiating the Straits of Hormuz because it's dangerous.
Well, the problem is, and this is interesting. So if you start Googling how wide, it fills in is the Strait of Hormuz.
I'm sorry, what?
So if you type into Google how wide, it'll auto finish is the Strait of Hormuz.
Right.
It's such a common,
everyone to know. I think there's
now.
the one island that is 16 miles offshore, and the other one it's 150 miles or something like that.
It's roughly 24 miles wide at its narrowest point.
Okay.
But
yeah.
There's an area for the large tankers. It's only 2 miles wide in each direction. So it's about 4 miles in the middle that the oil tankers are allowed to use. And I guess that's because of the depth of the water.
Probably.
So all vessels must pass through the territorial waters of either Iran or Oman. There's 2 miles. So there's 2 miles for inbound, 2 miles for outbound, and there's a 2 mile buffer between them. So I guess it's a 6 mile section, but that, assuming, who knows if they're, right side drivers or left side drivers. Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. Well, yeah. I mean, I'm assuming that the inbound would be in the easternmost lane, and that the southbound would be in the westernmost lane. But what do I know? I'm not a Marine captain.
Yeah. All right. Nuclear energy stocks advance on strong clean power outlook. 400 gigawatt target for 2050. U.S. policies aim to expand from 100 gigawatts in 24 to 400 gigawatts in 2050, so in 26 years. Rising demand from data centers, EV charging infrastructure, and manufacturing reshoring is driving nuclear's renaissance. You know, Mike and I were talking about the BYD 1.36 megawatt chargers that they've designed over in China. And Mike was saying that they have figured out that because the car only needs 4 or 5 minutes to charge, that it's really not pulling power very much because it's such a limited time. Plus, there's going to be a big battery pack there.
Right.
So that battery pack is probably pushing 80% of that power into it. And then it's filling back up, say, over the next 30 minutes. Right. Yeah. So if the thing charged like 50 cars a day, you know, it could probably charge 50 cars a day just balancing from that battery pack that it has.
Yeah.
You know, the battery pack would keep refilling, but it would push those electrons in from that.
I posted a story today that the panel makers, because it's become so competitive in China, that a lot of the panel makers are now switching over to making BESS systems, right? Battery energy storage systems, which obviously makes sense. You know, you got to put that energy somewhere. Market. Yeah.
The prices keep going down though. Prices keep going down. There's so many people supplying them, but while the demand is going up, it's not going up as fast as supply is increasing.
Yeah.
You know, let's see. A company called Next Gen Energy secured final approval from the Canadian Nuclear Safety Commission in 2026 to begin construction of the Rook I uranium project. Once operational, which is approximately 2030, it could produce 30 million pounds of uranium annually. My understanding is that'd be enough to produce more than half of all North American needs. Let's see. There's been a couple other recent things. Aptera, their natrium reactor, that's the Microsoft-backed one, or Bill Gates-backed, I should say.
Bill Gates, yeah.
They got a construction permit from the Nuclear Regulatory Commission, and that was a pretty big deal.
And they're building this in Wyoming or something?
I think so.
Yeah.
It's Wyoming. Yeah. Yeah, why not? There was nothing going in. If something went wrong, nobody'd care about Wyoming, right?
Except for our listeners who happen to live in Wyoming. So, yeah.
All four of them. All four of the people who live in Wyoming. No. So that's
a beautiful state. Let's not knock it. I like Wyoming.
One of the companies I represent has a corporate address of 30 North Gould Street, Sheridan, Wyoming, which that seems like awfully specific to give that out, right? Well, if you were to research that address, it is the most common corporate address in the world.
Isn't that interesting? Sort of the
30 North
Western version of Delaware, huh?
Yeah. 30 North Gould Street has like 200,000 companies are headquartered at that address.
Isn't that interesting? Yeah.
Yeah. It was funny because there was this one deal with a lender. They said, no, that's a really red flag. We don't do business with that address. Because they go, we had a loan fail or something from that address. I go, you do realize it's the most common corporate address on the planet. And I said, why that would be a red flag is beyond me. Because I couldn't tell you how many times I've been working on something, like we're doing an NDA or something, and every party on the agreement has that address. You know, it's just so common. And
so I assuming this has to
nobody lives there. Nobody lives there in Sheridan, Wyoming. I mean, there are people that live in Sheridan, Wyoming, but nowhere near the amount of corporate entities that count as a living person, technically, but not for the census.
So who mans the mailbox there, I wonder?
Oh yeah, I'm sure it's crazy amount of mail. I'm sure it's
Oh,
like
yeah.
multiple tractor trailers a day, probably.
Yeah.
It is kind of funny to think about how much mail must go to that
And
location
then,
every
and
day.
then how does it end up in the hands of the real recipients? I mean, they can't have all law offices,
Right.
there.
Yeah, I don't know, but it is kind of funny. If you
Uh,
go online to create your LLC or whatever,
right.
almost all of those are based in Sheridan.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it gets pretty humorous. Anyways, let's
Let's see,
see.
isn't Sheridan on the road to Little Bighorn, if I remember correctly?
I don't know, but that you know, man, how about this whole Christy Gnome thing? Damn, I still am just floored. $220 million worth of ads for DHS. Does DHS really need to be running ads and it's going to like some relative of hers?
Well, going to her apparently lover, Corey Lewandowski.
Oh, yeah.
Um,
I wasn't sure if that was really what the story was.
yeah.
I saw somebody writing about Corey Lewandowski, and I didn't realize there was a connection between her and him.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. There's a connection. Rumor has it, okay, allegedly,
Yeah.
that there's a serious connection
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
between
Yeah. I
the two, and
mean,
both are married.
yeah. Yeah.
Go,
That's just not a great look.
no.
Yeah. Um, anyways.
Hey, should
Um,
we talk about Coma 4 before we ring off here?
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so we're all this. I'm still confused as to what Tesla's doing with respect to transferring their auto drive or whatever they're calling it now. Program. Apparently, you could buy the system originally, but now they've switched over to a $99 a month thing or another.
Well, it used to cost $10,000.
Right.
And then
And
they started offering the $99 a month thing. And then
right.
they got rid of the $10,000 program.
So but then you could, if you owned, let's say, a Model S 2016 Model S, and you want to upgrade to a new, Juniper 2025 or 26 or whatever, Model Y, then you could apparently take the system that what you had paid or whatever it was. See, I'm confused. I still haven't quite figured that
If
out.
you look at their used cars, a lot of them say it already has it paid for.
Yeah. So I'm, again, like I said, I'm a little confused about that. But if you just want to have something where you drive on the interstate all the time, and you just, I go from here to Des Moines or here to Kansas City or here to, Grand Island or whatever, and I'm on the interstate all the time, and I just like to take a break. There now is a system that you can attach to your windshield, and that will then, and I'm not sure how it ends up steering the car, but it basically will steer the car for you. It's a system called Coma 4. Now, I'm not trying to sell this. We're not getting any advertising. I was just surprised to come across it and see, there's a system.
It's comma.ai.
Right.
You can look at this. It runs a program called OpenPilot. It's their open source driver assistance software. It houses cameras and a powerful Qualcomm Snapdragon 845 based processor, connects to the car via a model specific wiring harness. It sounds kind of like it's equipped like a dash cam. Once installed and calibrated, it takes over lane keeping and adaptive cruise duties from the factory system using its own vision stack and control logic.
And it's a little box about that big that sticks to your inside your windshield. Amazing.
Yeah. Has more smoother, more confident lane centering and distance control than many OEM systems, especially on highways and major arteries. Is designed to feel like a very competent co-pilot, not an autonomous chauffeur. So it doesn't, it's not going to be something where you just set something in your GPS.
Right.
And
I think they consider that level 2 driving, but basically just lane keeping.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, hey, Bobby. And it is not a self-driving system, does not navigate city streets, interpret traffic lights and
Right.
intersections the way Tesla's FSD beta attempts to do. And it does not follow a GPS route from origin to destination. It's strictly a level 2 driver assistance system. You know, there's some other programs out there, you know, like Ford Blue Cruise,
Right.
Chevy Super Cruise, those things.
I'd do something similar. Yeah.
Yeah.
But this is an aftermarket thing. You can, you know, put
Yeah.
on the car.
For around $1,000, probably another $200 to $500 to have it installed. Currently, it supports 300 models. Includes Nissan, Toyota, Lexus, Hyundai, Kia, Honda, Ford, GM, Mazda, Subaru, Volkswagen, Audi, BMW, Mercedes, and others. Doesn't support Tesla. No.
Yeah. Oh, I wonder why.
Wouldn't need a Tesla. Doesn't mention BYD. No, these are all, you know, gas car makers. Does not carry OEM blessing. It taps into the car's existing electronic architecture via the CAN bus and in effect replaces or augments the factory lane keeping and adaptive cruise behavior with its own. Anyways, it's Comma.ai is a US-based robotics and AI company founded by George Hotz, known originally for jailbreaking the first iPhone. Since 2016, the company has been iterating on both hardware and software, shipping successive generations of open pilot-powered devices and cultivating an active developer and user community. There are no documented fatalities tied directly to Comma 4 or OpenPilot, and no widely reported high-profile crashes in the way Tesla's autopilot FSD. But, you know, on the flip side, I've heard of FSD. I'd never heard of Comma 4 until today.
No, a complete surprise to me. That's why I thought, well, I'll post something there so people are, you know, aware of it.
Let's see. Against systems like GM Super Cruise or Ford's Blue Cruise, Comma 4 trades polish and OEM integration for flexibility. Super Cruise and Blue Cruise offer hands-off operation on pre-mapped highways backed by LiDAR maps and deep integration with the vehicle's controls and driver monitoring. Comma 4 cannot touch that hands-off promise. It remains hands-on, eyes-on, but it can be installed on a wide variety of vehicles, including older EVs and non-luxury models that will never see factory hands-free systems. Well, you know, still that's pretty cool if somebody wanted it on an older.
Yeah, so I'm saying, you know, if I had to do a lot of road commuting back and forth on the interstate, that gets, you know, you'd like to take a break every now and then and just have somebody steer for you. I'd look into considering it. I don't have to do that anymore, so I'm not going to put it on mine. But it's out there; it's available. So.
Yeah.
And this is not an endorsement. Okay. Just something I found curious and wanted to share.
You know, it's really funny. We did a episode a long time ago about jailbreaking your Tesla.
Yes.
And it was very interesting to see because we still get, I don't know, we probably get 20, 30 views on that video every day. It's like it's constantly in like the 3 most watched videos that we have
interesting.
Out.
Okay.
You know, it pops up in that all the time. And if I'm looking at the top, 10 videos, it's always every day it's in the top 10 videos being watched. And it's just funny. And that was one, because somebody, I saw comments like, well, let's work on a Tesla Model 3 performance. And it's like, but that's the idea of the jailbreak. Is the performance capability may be in your model. It's downgraded.
It's locked up electronically.
But if you jailbreak it, you get the performance modeling, and it adds like 150 horsepower and a whole bunch of other stuff. And it wasn't really terribly expensive. That's kind of how this whole Comma 4 thing sounds. All right, let's go back to Aptera. Last time we talked about Aptera was in like the last 2 minutes of the show, and we asked people to comment, and we did get comments on it. So I don't remember what the comments were, but we did get comments.
Oh, okay.
Did the clock change again? Yeah. Yogi, we
yeah.
the United States changed an hour. Yeah, except unless you were talking to people in Phoenix. But it's really interesting because like the whole rest of the world doesn't do our stupid daylight savings time. We'd like to get rid of it here in the United States.
That's actually not true because they do that in the UK, I think, don't they?
Not that I know of.
Oh.
But I guess it's possible. Yeah. But yeah, we're an hour off kilter. That it actually occurred on Sunday. For the whole previous week, I started setting my alarm clock to go off 10 minutes earlier each day.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
I'm still kind of doing it. I'm, having just kind of a gradual, because otherwise I'll be getting up at like 8 a.m. now, and it's just like, oh God, how did I sleep so late? But it's a matter of trying to get to bed a little earlier. And what's interesting is I saw something that the rate of heart attacks on the day that we change the clocks, where we spring ahead and we lose an hour of sleep, was like 25% higher on that day.
Isn't that interesting? Huh?
Yeah, that 1 hour lack of sleep.
Well, we've got legislation proposed here in the state to either ban the change or make it permanent. So it's either we go back to what the original, sync with the sun clock is, as opposed to get up an hour earlier.
It just needs to die. That whole thing.
I totally agree. Now, the question is, though, do you put it at the hour earlier and keep it there, or do you keep it at this, sun synchronized point at which we call, because it's straight up overhead, it's now noon, right?
Well, so like on Thursday, I'm flying to Phoenix. I don't know if it's
Phoenix doesn't,
or a 2 hour time change.
Right. They don't do it. They just stay where they are. So
yeah. And it's, it just gets so strange dealing with that time change.
Well, this is, whereas Arizona is a more senior citizen oriented kind of a place, where Nebraska is very strongly agriculture. And I imagine farmers enjoy having that extra hour in the evening when they're harvesting crops or whatever. So,
I mean, why would it matter? I mean, can't you just decide you're going to do something at a different time?
Right, exactly. I'm not arguing with you. I totally agree. I have to every day, or twice a year, I have to pull a big wall clock off and put a new battery in it and reset it, and then try to hang it back on the wall. And
I went to high school for 1 year in Florida, and I remember school started at 7 a.m. and we were done at 1:50. And it's like, I don't know. I mean, you could set whatever time you wanted. Maybe in certain time of the year, maybe you have school start an hour earlier. I mean, because that was kind of what one of the arguments was. You didn't want the kids waiting for the bus in the dark.
Exactly.
Yeah. Anyways, I mean, but before there was buses and the kids were just getting run over by horses, it was fine, right?
Oh, hey, Aptera.
Yeah.
We're going to say anything more about Aptera?
Aptera claims they are production ready, 100 cars per day by the end of this year. Aptera says they'll begin production of its 3-wheel solar EV by year end, targeting up to 100 units daily. First validation line vehicle was recently shown. We talked about that a little bit.
Right.
Supposedly through crowdfunding in this Accelerator Program. Oh, and that was what the comment was about. That was people who put in larger deposits and made them available to the company.
Right.
They got moved up in the line.
Right.
With their cars.
Okay.
Deliveries promised for late 26. Some skepticism is warranted. Given Aptera's history of delays and heavy reliance on non-traditional financing, these timelines should be viewed with caution. However, showing the first validation vehicle is a positive step. So as part of my day work, I program all AIs to be super skeptical of anything I'm talking about. So some of that skepticism, I'm a super optimistic person. And to balance that, I make all of I use several different AIs, but I all to be very skeptical of what they're doing because I want them to know what's wrong. And some of this is my day jobs, because I'm constantly looking at businesses to acquire and merger and acquisition work, and I take everything skeptically. For starters, I can't trust anybody to be completely accurate unless the numbers are audited. There's just different things.
All right.
It's have to be verified in person and all this. And in our EV space, we've had some really bad actors. I mean, I'm not saying there's not bad actors in every business, but after the whole thing with like, the Nikola vehicle rolling downhill and, you know, some of the things we've seen, it's like, why did these people have to get into our space just to make it look like EVs are, you know, I hear people say EVs are a scam. Well, if you saw Nikola, you could certainly say that. People say that about Mullen Automotive. You know, there's been a few.
I forgot. You know, one of the things we should mention is the fact that the new Chevy Bolt, the 2027 Bolt, is now out, and various reviewers have had a chance to get the car and use it. In fact, I'm thinking that I actually saw one over the weekend. I was at a traffic light. Right ahead of me was a Generation 2 Nissan Leaf. I'm in my Generation 1 Chevrolet Bolt, and there's a red car that's a Bolt, but it doesn't look like mine. Looks a whole lot like mine. And I'm thinking, and I got to think, is that a new one? And it possibly could be one of the new ones.
It's the 2027 Chevy Bolt?
2027 Chevy Bolt is now out. Yep.
Huh.
Now, if it's available at dealerships, I don't know. But the car reviewers, John Volker and other guys have got the cars and are reviewing them.
Yeah, appears to be. So Blair, Nebraska is north of Omaha, and here is one that they list on their website for $36,000.
That looks like exactly the car I was looking at. Same color. Yeah. I bet that's what I was seeing. So yes, you can buy them now. Interesting.
Yeah, they apparently have one out there.
Yep.
Yeah, I thought that was that's kind of interesting. Yeah, let's see. Greg Young Chevy has it. They have a couple different. I see a white one and a blue one on their lot, a gray one on their lot, or silver. Yeah, so there's a few of them available. Let me see. Here's a Bolt LT. Oh, no picture. No picture. Must not. Oh, it doesn't look like it's arrived yet. But they've got some starting at 30,000.
Yeah.
A Greg Young Chevrolet. So they are certainly on their way. 29,990. That's
under 30,000.
That's an aggressive starting price.
Yeah.
Yeah. Love seeing it, Bill. Love seeing it.
Well, like I said, it looks like I did get to see one.
Yeah. Let's see. You know, and despite my criticism of NIO, they're up 11.44% today. Well,
it shows you how much influence we have on the market.
Yeah, yeah. So, yeah, so there's people who are watching and hear what I say, and they take the contrarian view. So, which is okay.
That's okay.
I'm just giving my 2 cents. I've just, like I said, I admire their technology. I admire some of the things they're doing. I don't admire Chinese stocks.
Nope. Yeah.
Okay. China is manipulative, and as we were talking earlier on the oil thing, I think that some of this is since World War II, or starting with World War II, almost most conflicts have somehow involved oil. World War II certainly did.
And actually, you can prove and make a direct line to also the same thing with World War I.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Yep. because just before World War I, the British discovered the Basra oil, I think it's the Basra oil fields. And the reason that they wanted, because Churchill was the Lord Admiral or whatever the official title was, they wanted to shift their battleships away from coal to oil, because it would give them more range and speed and all those, things that they couldn't get with coal. I mean, part of the reason for, occupying Cape Town was to set up a coal, and the same thing with India and other places, was to set up coal bunkering facilities. So their merchant marine and their navy could have places to replenish the coal. So oil would allow them, that advantage, particularly over the German navy, which had the same problem. So the reason why, you've heard of the famous, what's the rail line, the Venice to Istanbul, oh, come on, Bill.
The Istanbul
Murder
Express.
on the Orient Express, right?
Express,
the Orient Express, part of the reason for the building of the Orient Express was to build a rail line to connect Europe, and particularly Germany, with the oil fields in Turkey and Iraq.
Okay.
And so one of the very earliest battles of World War I was actually a battle for Basra, was to defend it from capture by the Germans. And of course, then you go to World War II, and you got the Caucasus, and Pulaski.
Let's not forget here, the Germans weren't the aggressors in World War I. They were punished, but they weren't really the aggressors.
Oh, well, yeah. There's I don't know.
World War I has some weird.
Oh yes,
I mean,
totally agree.
You look at all that, and by the way, folks, we're past an hour, so we're really just going way off.
If you want to log off, please.
Off the rails now, and I realize we have a lot of people watching us go off the rails, and maybe this is more entertaining than us talking about EVs.
Well, it turns you probably had a relative. From what the family legend is, my grandfather on my mother's side was a soldier on the German army in World War I.
So for those of you who don't know, Bill both happened to live just by chance in the same town in Nebraska. It just completely random. Yeah. And then the other thing is we're both from Germany. And, so anyways, you don't pick that up because neither of us have any accent.
Deutschland, but no. No.
So when we start talking about the superiority of the Focke-Wulf 190, we have a little bias.
Which I was just talking about last night, because the only surviving Focke-Wulf 1 that's flyable is one that was had a mechanical failure and landed in a swampy area, either in Ukraine or Belarus or somewhere like that, and was recovered from the swamp intact. The pilot did a hell of a job landing it after he had an engine out. Apparently, the engine out was caused by sabotage, because in the latter part of the war, much of those airplanes were being assembled by slave labor. And so
I thought that one of the Microsoft founders,
Paul Allen. That's Paul Allen's museum.
Oh, that is his. Okay.
Yes, it's a museum up in Everett, on the same field where Boeing aircraft are assembled. So yeah, I didn't know that when I toured the facility a couple of years ago, that Focke-Wulf is actually the one that was recovered from that swamp in, I think it was Belarus or somewhere.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah,
that's crazy. That's how that is. Anyways,
folks,
we're cutting the show.
Okay.
Thank you everybody for watching, listening to us ramble. We really went off the rails.
Maybe by Friday's show I'll be up to speed on EV World. I've just been distracted pretty much all week.
We went from rising oil prices to religion, and then to World War. The origins of World War I.
The Bible versus the King James. You gotta find that video. It's fascinating.
Yeah, I'm sure.
It is.
Anyways, folks, have a great day. I'll be back with our engineer, Mike Herzog, tomorrow. Otherwise, have a good day. Bye-bye.